Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
A warm welcome from Miller Park. The roof is all closed up, nice and warm inside. It's the Rockies and the Brewers, game one of a three-game series. Friday Night Baseball presented by Kawasaki Terex. Miller Park, the place to be, and Sean Markham and Jolie Chassin on the hill for the Brewer Crew and the Rockies, respectively. Markham trying to improve his record to 2-1. He's had a very good start to the season on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody. Alongside Davey Nelson, I'm Craig Kishan as we welcome you back to the broadcast here for Game 1. Two good pitchers out on the mound tonight, and pitching our top story as Chris Narveson has been placed on the disabled list by the Brewers with a tear in his rotator cuff. And this is big news as Mike McClendon is here to help out tonight. Also, Willie Peralta will arrive tomorrow. But big news, Davey, because obviously the starting five coming back from a year ago now taking its first big hit in some time.
That's right, because it is exceptional to go through a season, you know, with only your 5 or 6 starters. This injury, hopefully nothing too serious that'll keep Chris out for a long time. I know he's pretty dejected, but the thing about it is you have a pitcher at the bottom of your rotation, your fifth starter, that was pretty reliable, and you hope that you know, Marco Estrada can come in and do the same thing.
That's right. Marco Estrada will get the start tomorrow. Plenty more on this when we return, and two of the game's best go head-to-head as well. Ryan Braun and Troy Tulowitzki. Two stars actually looking for brighter results this weekend. It's the Rockies and the Brewers next.
Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. A cold, rainy night outside, but it's heating up inside. Got a great matchup, the Brewers and the Rockies, and two of the top players in the game today, Troy Tulowitzki and Ryan Braun. The Brewers and the Rockies, game one of this 3-game series. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight, and we're certainly anxious to see this matchup. It's always fun when you get two of the premier players in baseball together, Ryan Braun, Troy Tulowitzki, albeit a couple of slow starts for each.
Yeah, the Brewers haven't had a lot of luck. It was Matt Kemp 3 days, and now you get Troy Tulowitzki, who, since he started in 2007, he's not only been one of the better shortstops in the National League, but his numbers outstanding. Off to a bit of a slow start, both at the plate and in the field. He's got 6 errors already, but you know a guy like Tulowitzki is going to turn things around as you see his career numbers. But Ryan Braun, once again, we've been talking about Braun in 2007, the Rookie of the Year. A lot of the Rockies folks thought Tulowitzki should have got that award, but still in all, Ryan off to a bit of a slow start, struggled a little bit against the Dodgers. Both of the guys with only 1 home run, not many RBIs, but you know they're going to turn it around.
Well, the Brewers going to try to shake some disappointing news. Narveson, as Craig and Davey mentioned, on the disabled list. You see these two players, though. This is why the Brewers are excited about their offense. They feel like Braun is what the Brewers need, while Tulowitzki is what the Rockies need in the middle of their order. And since Braun came to the big leagues in 07, very similar numbers. Ryan Braun a little bit better with a batting average and a lot more home runs. Sean Markham is on the mound tonight. Can the Brewers pick up a victory against the Colorado Rockies? They're trying to make it 3 out of 4 on the homestand to get it started. First pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Retro Friday at Miller Park, Milwaukee. Ryan Braun leading the Brewers out onto the field tonight. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Mark Concannon, the third member of our team. There is Jim Tracy, Colorado Rockies skipper. They come in with a record of 6-6. And you see the numbers so far for the Rockies. Eric Young leads the way offensively for them. Trying to get Troy Tulowitzki back together. He's hitting just .244 this year. This is what Tracy's Piggly Wiggly batting order looks like. Some newcomers to this roster, including Marco Scutaro and Tyler Colvin. That'll be the lineup that faces Sean Markham. And Rock, he is trying to turn into a Miller Park pitcher. Had a lot of success on the road last year. Hoping to turn the momentum a little bit at home this season.
Yeah, his last outing against the Atlanta Braves, very good. 7 innings, 2 runs. Unfortunately, he picked up a loss. But you're right. I mean, in 2 starts after having an abbreviated spring training, he's been throwing the baseball very well, eating up 13 innings in 2 starts.
Now, the shoulder that everybody was concerned about leading up to the season was Sean Markham's shoulder. And he missed a good part of the spring schedule. Made just 3 spring training starts. Only 2 of those were at the major league level, but he has come back. He says his arm is 100% healthy. Says he feels strong. And that's why the news today was a bit of a shock that Chris Narveson has an injured shoulder, a rotator cuff problem. And that's usually not good news when you hear any kind of damage in the rotator cuff.
And Chris Narveson said it himself. I mean, before the game, he was concerned right away. You know, he threw the baseball pretty well, a little bit of discomfort, but the next day, I mean, he couldn't even lift his arm up, and right away he was concerned. He said that he could tell the difference between the usual aches and pains and when something's really wrong, and he's concerned right now, and so are the Brewers.
Well, that news announced today. You're just picking us up on the broadcast. Chris Narveson, the Brewers' number 5 starter, is out on the 15-day disabled list, and the Brewers are concerned it might be much longer than that with the shoulder injury. And it just goes to show you, you know, you're worried about Markham's shoulder and how he would come back and how he would pitch. He's fine. The Brewers have lost one. Scutaro skies one to Ryan Braun, and that's how Markham's night begins tonight. Now, you've seen Braun. Nori Aoki joins him in the outfield tonight. Corey Hart in right. The infield is Ramirez, Gonzalez, Weeks, and Gamble. And Lucroy does the catching. Brewers defense brought to you by Menards. Home plate umpire is Larry Vanover. Tony Randazzo, Todd Tishner, and the crew chief Brian Gorman on the bases. There's the crew chief. So a new team, a new umpiring crew. The Brewers coming off a series win against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Lost yesterday, but a couple of thrilling victories on Tuesday and Wednesday night.
All 3 games, really good baseball games. Unfortunately, Milwaukee came up a little bit short last night, or I should say yesterday, but still in all 3 very good games played by both teams in that Dodger series.
Dexter Fowler batting second in this Rockies batting order. Colorado comes to town having won their last 2 series. Took 2 out of 3 from the Padres. And they took 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks last weekend. San Diego off to a very slow start. And the Rockies were able to win the last 2 games of that series. Series that ended on Wednesday. The Rockies had a day off yesterday. Dexter Fowler, switch hitting center fielder for Colorado. He comes in with just 8 hits on the year. He's 8 for 37. That is a .216 batting average. Does have a couple of home runs though, and he's driven in 5.
Rockies as a team have been putting up some pretty good offense. You know, second in the league in batting average behind the St. Louis Cardinals, and second in runs scored. Offense not their issue. They have had a so far this year.
Well, they do have some new pieces, the most noteworthy of which is Jamie Moyer, who picked up a victory on Tuesday night at the age of 49. He becomes the oldest player in the history of baseball to win a game in the major leagues. Brewers will not see Jamie Moyer in this series. They'll get Pomeranz tomorrow and Jeremy Guthrie on Sunday. Michael Kadire is also on this Rockies roster, and he's not in the starting lineup today, Rockin. He fouled a pitch off his foot, they say.
Yeah, two off of his foot, and then he hit a home run. He was able to stay in the game. He had to come out, but doesn't feel good enough to play today. But you would expect Kadire to be back in the lineup tomorrow.
So that's a big loss, big bat out of the Rockies batting order. He's been their best hitter so far as Markham strikes out Dexter Fowler for out number 2. Rock, you mentioned Sean Markham's last start. Let's take you back Saturday in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was a good one. 7 innings, only allowed 3 hits. Unfortunately, he gave up a couple of runs, and that's what beat him. The Brewers only able to muster 1 run in that game, a 2-1 loss. But Markham has been ahead in the count pretty much in his first 2 starts, and relying on the off-speed pitch. I mean, Markham will pitch to contact, and because of that, he keeps his pitch count down. He only needed 105 pitches to get through 7 innings.
Now those are the numbers for Sean Markham. Mike Minor pitched for the Braves that night. He was fantastic. And the Brewers were just unable to push across any offense Saturday night in Atlanta. The Brewers were swept by the Braves in that series, which made it nice to see Milwaukee come back and get a series win against the Dodgers, who coming into the series were the hottest team in baseball. A strike to Carlos Gonzalez. He's out to a bit of a slow start himself. 9 for 36 at the plate. No homers, 4 runs batted in. And he's been ill. Had strep throat, knocked him out for 3 games. Just returned to the lineup on Tuesday.
Well, you know he's going to start hitting. He's too good of a hitter. He and Tulowitzki off to slow starts, and he just hoped that the Rockies get out of town before those 2 guys start swinging the bats. And Jim Tracy waiting for it. 6-6, not a terrible start.
That one's ripped to right, a base hit. So Carlos Gonzalez with a 2-out single. And that'll give Troy Tulowitzki an at bat in this inning.
Yep, change up from Markham. You can see that pitch trying to get away from Carlos Gonzalez, just left it up a little bit, and Gonzalez able to center on it, already seeming as though he's seeing the baseball better right now. You know it wasn't going to last.
That's a tough start for him when you come out of spring training. You're a little under the weather. You're trying to play through it. And you find out it's strep throat and something serious and contagious.
Yeah.
That they had to quarantine him.
They've had some miserable weather in Colorado. Some cold, wet, damp weather, and that doesn't help you.
Gonzalez takes off. He got a great jump and an easy steal for Carlos Gonzalez. That'll be his first steal of the season.
Yeah, no chance. I mean, Markham not paying much attention to him, and because of that, Lucroy doesn't even bother.
Well, that tells you that his legs are feeling good. I'm sure the day off did the Rockies a lot of good yesterday. Troy Tulowitzki with a runner at second now and 2 away. And that one's into left field. That's trouble. That is going to be over the head of Braun, off the wall, and a run will score as Tulowitzki comes up with some 2-out magic for the Rockies. And a quick strike for Colorado with 2 away.
Yep, tried to sneak a fastball by him inside. He got it up, and Tulowitzki able to fight it off. Check out where this pitch is. It was supposed to be in. It was in. It was up. I don't even think it was a strike, but Tulowitzki able to pull the hands in and rip it off the wall out there and left. So 2 outs, nobody on, and the Rockies able to push one across.
And it happened quickly. A single, a steal, and a double. Tulowitzki's 7th RBI. And the Rockies have the early lead. Here's Todd Helton now. We saw a lot of the Rockies this spring. They train in Arizona. And we had a couple of occasions to see Colorado and talk to Jim Tracy. He was very confident in his offense. He thinks they're going to play excellent defense, which is surprising that they're not hitting. And they've committed 15 errors through the first 12 games. But those are supposed to be the strengths of the Colorado Rockies. The one area that Tracy was concerned about was the young pitching.
Yeah.
What you were going to get from them.
Right. Well, the young pitching, it's always a wild card. You never know what you're going to get, and that was the reason why they picked up a guy that's 50 years old, or almost anyway. And he's been pretty good so far, Jamie Moyer. I'm only 3.5 years older than that guy.
Wow.
I mean,
and he looks so good.
Yeah, he does.
You really let yourself go, Rock.
He looks in good shape, doesn't he?
That's what you get for sitting up here next to me. I mean, that's what 6 years in the booth with me, and what, 17?
And I don't think I'm that bad, actually.
Well, that's
subject
to your own opinion.
My opinion. But compared to Jamie Moyer, right? Look at him, still pitching.
Well, 49 years of age. He got that win. 49 years, 151 days, setting the major league record. Good for him. That was a thriller to watch. Just watching the highlights of that game. And, Moyer able to beat the San Diego Padres. Went 7 innings in that game. He's actually pitched well in his 2 starts and has not thrown a single pitch over 79 miles an hour this year. Under the bat speed.
I mean, that's still getting it up there pretty good for being almost 50.
Now Helton draws the walk. So some trouble here for Sean Markham. Let's give you some of those highlights from Tuesday. 22-year-old catcher behind the plate, and the 49-year-old Jamie Moyer on the mound. Rolene Rosario told Jamie Moyer, he said, you know, I know these hitters, I got you covered, because Moyer's been in the American League and out of baseball last year. But what a performance it was, historic.
It doesn't matter who he's facing, he's going to pitch his game. I mean, he's going to turn his fastball over on the outside corner, straighten you up once in a while, keep it down, and try and get some ground ball outs. Jamie Moore is not a guy that I think worries too much about a scouting report. He's just going to pitch the way he pitches.
Well, an early quick trip to the mound for Jonathan Lucroy. Markham retired the first 2 relatively quickly, but then Gonzalez singled, stole second. Tulowitzki drove him in with a double, and now Helton has walked. Markham facing Ramon Hernandez, the former Red. He's another one of the newcomers here in Colorado. Man, he had a big cut. Those who follow the Brewers closely and remember last year the dismal start the Brewers got off to, and one of the guys who encouraged that dismal start was this man, Ramon Hernandez, who hit a grand slam home run on opening day against John Axford. Axford would only blow 1 more save and enters this game with 45 consecutive. So that could be an interesting confrontation if it ever materializes in this series.
Yeah, I mean, Hernandez is a tremendous defensive catcher. I mean, he throws the ball just about as well as anybody, and every now and again he'll run into one like he did on opening day last year. But that's certainly a guy that you can pitch to. Get him on the ground, he doesn't run all that well.
Rockies are his 5th major league team after a couple of seasons with the Cincinnati Reds. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Hernandez strikes out. Markham gets through the first, but the Rockies strike first. A Tulowitzki RBI double. Ron Renicky trying to get his Brew Crew, get the offense jump started a little bit. Piggly Wiggly batting order for Renicky's 9 today. It's Ricky Weeks, Nori Aoki, Ryan Braun. Middle of the order is Ramirez, Hart, and Gamble, with Gonzalez, Lucroy, and Markham rounding it out.
Yeah, a little bit of a shaky start for Julius Chassin. He's been very inconsistent in his first 2 starts. In 2 starts, he's only been able to go 8 innings, a .563 earned run average. Got off to a great start last year in the first half, and then somewhat faded after the All-Star break.
Just turned 24 this past January. He's out of Venezuela, Zulia, Venezuela, and his 4th season in the major leagues. Has 2 full seasons under his belt as a big league pitcher, as Ricky Weeks takes strike 1 from Jhoulys Chacín. Weeks coming in with 10 hits in 50 at-bats. 200 batting average starting play today. 2 of those 10 hits are home runs. And again, Renicky commenting on the top of the batting order. It's imperative that the Brewers get some production from the top 2 spots leading up to Braun. And a bit of a lineup change today. Instead of Nyjer Morgan batting second, it is Nori Aoki, who not only hits second but plays center field.
Yeah, Nyjer Morgan off to a bit of a slow start, so giving Aoki an opportunity in that number 2 hole to get something going.
And down goes Weeks, inside corner fastball from Chacín. Check the defense for Colorado. Gonzalez, Fowler, and Colvin. Infield is Chris Nelson, Troy Tulowitzki, Marco Scudero, and Todd Helton. And Ramon Hernandez does the catching. Jhoulys Chacín on the mound, his 3rd start. Had a rain-shortened start his last time out. He was pitching well against the Diamondbacks. As Aoki takes a strike.
It's always important for every pitcher to be able to get ahead in the count, but really important for this guy. Found himself in the second half last year falling behind quite a bit.
Aoki is out. 2 outs in the inning. A scouting report on Jhoulys Chacín comes from the Brewers hitting coach Johnny Naron.
Well, he's got a 4-pitch mix, so he's fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. He's going to mix it. He's going to work at both sides of the plate. He's going to test our patience. We're going to have to be patient, get him in the strike zone, and be aggressive in the zone.
Man, so far he's been able to get ahead early in the count, something that he struggles with. But he's got good stuff. I mean, he's got a live arm, but throwing strikes has been an issue. He led the National League in walks last year.
He had 87 walks in his 31 starts a season ago, as Ryan Braun takes a ball. Well, a big weekend crowd here set for this series against the Rockies. The first weekend since the opening weekend of the season. I think a lot of fans getting a chance to see Ryan Braun for the first time. That was a big ovation he got as he was introduced. Braun is still under the weather. I saw him today and said, "How you doing today?" He goes, "Worse." But he said, I'm good enough to play.
Yeah, a little thing going through the clubhouse right now. Ron Renicky still battling a bit of a cold, but you got to play through it.
Now Braun was hitless in the series against the Dodgers. His manager saying yesterday after the game he liked what he saw in his at-bats yesterday. Hit one to the wall and center, had a line out, and that encouraged him that he is in fact healthy enough to play. He might not be at 100%, but he liked his approach at the plate. So managers, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, they look at different elements than just the results. Now Braun is anxious to see a Rocky out there on the mound. He has very good success against Colorado. His last 27 games he's hit for a .358 average. And he's hit all but 2 of those games, Rob.
That's 17 home runs. Doesn't matter if it's at Coors Field or here at Miller Park. And just that familiarity, the good feelings that he gets seeing the Rockies out there, that might get him going.
Well, we made the comparison when we hit the air. Braun and Tulowitzki, their careers have paralleled each other in so many ways, and they each have success against the other team. Tulowitzki against the Brewers, a .400 hitter. As Braun waves and misses, down he goes on strikes, and the inning is over. Chacin, a 3-up, 3-down first.
Back at Miller Park, the Brewers battling the Rockies and illness. A lot of the Brewers have bad colds. You just heard Bill Schroeder last inning talking about Ryan Braun. Brewers GM Doug Melvin told me there is a club out there that actually has a service, a club that will disinfect clubhouses, and some teams are considering that. But Melvin told me it's just a hazard of the trade with so many people in close quarters every day. Now, the Brewers front office, they had a staffer today who called in saying that he felt feverish, and the club, taking no chances, said stay home, stay away. BA and Rock, how are you guys feeling?
Yeah, we might have to send that service up here to the booth. Disinfect the booth for a lot of reasons.
They're a little bit close. Move over.
Colvin bunts that one foul. Remember a couple of years ago, Rock, this is a true story now. Not that the other stories I tell aren't true, but this one's really true.
I'm glad you qualified.
A couple of years ago in Colorado against the Rockies, I got the flu, and I was quarantined in my room for 2 days. They wouldn't let me around the club, and I think, you know, I don't think the treatment is so harsh for the players.
Right.
But same idea. You can spread fast in a clubhouse when you're traveling on planes together.
Yeah. It can blow through there very quickly. You know, these guys are on the planes together, but you know, breathing that recirculated air. I mean, it's easy to have something like that go to clubhouses. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
I recommend a nice supplement of vitamin C.
I feel great, though.
Well, you look great.
I might not look as good as Jamie Moore, but I feel better.
Colvin lifts one deep to right. Hart is back with room. He's got it for the out. Tyler Colvin sends Hart deep to the wall, gives Markham a scare.
And a little bit off the end of the bat at 82 miles an hour. And yeah, that's what Markham will do to you. I mean, he's not going to strike out a whole lot, but he'll get you on the handle. He'll get you on the end. And his idea is to not let you square up on him, although Tulowitzki was able to.
One gone for Chris Nelson. Well, this guy is taking advantage of his opportunity. Getting a chance to play third base every day now after a hot start. When we saw Colorado this spring, Casey Blake was at third base, and many felt he was going to be the veteran presence that was going to get a chance to play third base every day. But the Rockies released him in spring training, and it is Chris Nelson who gets that opportunity. And he's earned it with a bat. He's hitting coming into play tonight, 306.
And he's made the most of it so far. It's tough to, let a guy like Casey Blake go. And he's always been a very consistent hitter, good, solid defensively at third base. Electing to go a little bit cheaper probably and a lot younger with Chris Nelson. So it's his job to lose.
Well, Nelson made his major league debut against the Brewers. That was 2 years ago, June of 2010. Two balls, two strikes on Nelson. Rockies are going to rely on a lot of their young players. They have a terrific minor league system starting to produce some big league players now. Nelson chases one as Markham goes up the ladder. We had a chance to hear from Rick Kranitz, the Brewer pitching coach, on Sean Markham and what he has to do to be successful.
There's never two pitches that are the same. He may throw two fastballs back to back, but something is a little bit different. One might cut, one might sink, may take off a little bit. You never know what he's going to throw. So command is real important for him as well. Obviously, when he's working fast and he's rhythm, it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts already for Sean Markham. And Rick Kranitz talking about the fastball. He'll throw a 4-seamer, he'll sink it, he'll cut it. They throw that dead fish fastball once in a while. So yeah, one fastball does not necessarily mean one pitch.
Well, interesting that in this game so far, 3 of his 5 outs are via the strikeout. Facing his mound opponent, Jhoulys Chacín. Had to laugh at Rick Kranitz earlier today. He's got a full head of gray hair. And he was talking about Jamie Moyer. He's just 4 years older than Jamie Moyer. And he was Jamie Moyer's pitching coach in 1987 at A-ball. And he said Jamie gave him his first gray hair, 1987. Chacín pops up, inning over, 1-2-3. Rockies go down in order in the second. Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Kawasaki Tarek. Beautiful Miller Park on a Friday night, bottom of the second inning here. The Rockies have a lead. Troy Tulowitzki drove in a run into first. See the Brewers, you take it back to July 16th of last year. Things weren't going so well. Then they acquired K-Rod. They had lost the first 2 games of the second half, and then it was a big comeback. Ricky Weeks hit what proved to be a game-winning home run, and the Brewers defeated the Rockies as Aramis Ramirez skies one into the outfield for out number 1.
Yeah, that was a line in the sand that game after the All-Star break, and you can see what the Brewers were able to do after that. They were on a stretch where they won 32 of 41 games, but overall 47-21 record. Look at the team earned run average. And after K-Rod came on board, look at that bullpen earned ERA, 2.21. Brewers had a tremendous month of August and would go on to win the National League Central Division by, what was it, 6.5 games?
6 games.
6 games, yeah.
Well, the Brewers were a half game back at the time of that game as Hart bounces over to Nelson, and there is out number 2. And they ended up, if that lead would swell to 10.5 before the Cardinals would surge back. But that night on July 16th of 2011, Jhoulys Chacín was on the mound. That was his only matchup against the Milwaukee Brewers, and he started out very well, and then the Brewers got to him and ultimately had a comeback win against Chacín. Chacín has never pitched inside Miller Park. So that was a day of demarcation last year. We referenced that date quite a bit last season. As Gamble loses the bat, fouls it out of play.
And a lot of different things he can point to with the Brewers turnaround in the second half last year. But you're right. I mean, K-Rod joining that bullpen certainly gave everybody a lot of confidence late in ball games. You get 2 closers down there, gives the offense confidence late. And a lot of dramatic come from behind, walk-off, last at bat wins.
Ball and a strike on Matt Gamble. And he'll slice that one foul. 1-2. Chacín throwing a lot of strikes here early. That's always the question mark. As Rock mentioned, Chacín's command, and as Johnny Aaron pointed out, he tests the patience of the offense. He is not a good matchup for a free swinging team. And Gamble goes down on strikes. Chacín off to a red hot start. 6 up, 6 down with 3 Ks.
One nothing Colorado, top third. Mark Concannon with Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. Rick, great to have you on the broadcast. A big day Sunday, a special giveaway, a special ceremony.
Right, Jonathan LaCroix bobbleheads for all fans, sponsored by Quick Trip on Sunday. And also we're honoring Ryan Braun for his 2011 Most Valuable Player Award. It's going to be a special ceremony. We ask the fans to get her on time, get her a little early. They're going to see some surprise guests, some great tribute to a special player.
And
a special promotion. Brewers win, you win. What's that all about?
Every win in April that the Brewers achieve is $1 off a terrace ticket for the Red Series, May 7, 8, and 9. We did this last year, and we shaved $17 off the ticket price because we won 17 games in the month. Let's try to do that again. It's a great promotion. We had a lot of fun with it, and we expect some good ticket sales and good numbers for that series.
Rick, always a pleasure. Great to have you on the broadcast.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, guys, and Rick says big crowds expected for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, got a big one here tonight as well. The Brewers doing a great job out there, and the Brewers fans responding in a big way. Already sold 2 million tickets. Brewers did announce a new digital ticket option today. You know, like when you go to the airport, you can get it on your smartphone. You can go paperless if you want, so that's pretty cool.
We do that on our phones?
Sure.
Really?
For access into the booth, you mean? Anybody's phones, as long as they're smart enough. Markham facing Marco Scutaro. And Scutaro, another pop-up. That's twice that Scutaro has popped out. Our carsoup.com email the booth question today comes from Megan in Green Bay. Is the 05 draft still regarded as one of the best in recent history?
I don't think there's any question. Maybe one of the best of all time. Look at all the big leaguers that are currently still playing right now. I mean, just about every one of them, I mean, has turned out to be a pretty good pick. Up and down that line, 1 through 12. You can see Braun and Tulowitzki.
Fowler lifts one high and deep to center, but it'll stay in the ballpark as Oki makes the catch for out number 2. Now, we've had a lot of fun over the years talking about Braun and Tulowitzki and Doug Melvin, Gordash, and at the time, the Brewers scouting director, Jack Zarincic, talking about the decision in the war room between Tulowitzki or Braun. You know, they were both on the board, available, and there was a lot of back and forth, some arguments about whether to take the shortstop or the third baseman from Miami. And they went with Braun, and Tulowitzki ended up slipping another spot to 7. And I think both organizations are very happy with their pick.
Yep, Ryan Braun, knock on wood, has been able to stay a little more healthy than Tulowitzki. He's had some issues. He's been on a disabled list as Troy Tulowitzki, but I hate to say it, but Ryan Braun has not had to do that.
Carlos Gonzalez, he takes a ball. Now, Braun and Tulowitzki drafted the same year, both arrived to the big leagues the same year. Although Tulowitzki was the opening day shortstop for the Rockies in 07. Braun did not arrive until late May and still won the National League Rookie of the Year that season. Tulowitzki signed a long-term, multi-year contract with the Rockies first. He signed one of those 10-year deals as well, and then Braun shortly thereafter signed a similar kind of contract with Milwaukee. So these two are content with where they're playing. They're happy to be in the markets that they're in.
Yep, and certainly both faces of their franchise. It's always good when you look at the career transactions for Ryan Braun. There's only one. It was 05. Selected in the first round overall in the first-year player draft. That means no DL.
No DL. And Sean Markham, a 3-up and 3-down inning. Retired 7 in a row. The Brewers are coming up in the home third. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
Hey, on Sunday off entertaining the Brewers Rockies game, we'll receive a Jonathan Lucroy bobblehead courtesy of Quick Trip.
And expecting a big crowd on Sunday, as Mark reported. Hope you'll make plans to join us here at Miller Park. It's always a great time, especially on a night like this when it's cold and rainy out. Nice and warm, tucked inside Miller Park. Alex Gonzalez, and a big bounce out to Tulowitzki. Takes care of Gonzalez, and the Brewers are going to have to figure something out here against Jhoulys Chacin. Rock, the bottom of the order has been a story for Milwaukee. The top has struggled, but the bottom has carried the Brewers through the couple of wins on this homestand.
Yeah, 1 through 4 has had their problems individually from time to time. Aramis Ramirez starting to heat up, but I'll tell you, last 3 games, 13 hits, 6 runs, and 7 RBIs, and a lot of dramatic base hits, some squeeze plays. George Katar's double to end a game a couple of nights ago. But you know, bottom of the order is one of the reasons why the Brewers have been able to hang in there so far this year.
See the numbers on Lucroy this season, hitting .310, 9 hits, 29 at bats. Has a couple of home runs and 6 RBIs.
Now, the encouraging thing is that you know the top of the order is going to turn things around. Braun's going to get his. Aramis Ramirez every single year gets off to a slow start. You know that Ricky's going to get his. So you just hope that the bottom half of the Brewers batting order is able to continue to do what they've done so far this year and, you know, get on base, come up with some big hits. Because if everybody up and down that batting order is getting it done, it's going to be a good offensive season. Can't rely on the same guys all the time. And you know the top's going to snap out of it at some point.
Johnny Naron, the new hitting coach, working hard to try to get the Brewers through this early season offensive slump. Two balls and 2 strikes on Lucroy. Chacin has been spot on in the early going. For a guy who struggles with his command, he's put it where he's wanted to for the most part. Chacin probably feeling fresh today because of his last start, which was rain shortened. Only went 4 innings. Struck out 5 batters in those 4 innings facing the Arizona Diamondback. Gave up just 1 run and only needed 64 pitches to go through the 4 innings. Lucroy down the line, foul. Well, a reminder, Fox Saturday Baseball returns tomorrow. The Yankees will be in Fenway Park taking on the Red Sox. First series of the season between the two. Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow, 2:30 Central. Yankees won today, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park today. They had a great ceremony. As Lucroy hits one high left center, just got under it a little too much. Out number 2.
Hey, with just $50, purchase 4 Terrace Reserve tickets to select Sunday home games and get 4 coupons for free hot dogs and small sodas. Family Day tickets are $12.50 each. Visit Brewers.com/Family Days.
Here's Sean Markham with 2 outs. Did you get a chance to see any of the coverage today of the
I did.
100?
Yep, I had it on.
Anniversary? Our friends at MLB Network did a great job covering that event, and it was, I thought it was a very special presentation, very classy. They invited every player who has ever played for the Red Sox, even if it was just for a couple of days. If you wore a Red Sox uniform on an active roster, you were invited back. And I think they had around 250 or so players. And it was interesting, Rock, the biggest ovation, huh? Terry Francona.
Yeah.
Who at the last moment changed his mind.
Yeah, he did what no other manager could do for almost 100 years, right? Bring a World Series title to Boston.
Yeah, he did it twice. Another quick inning for Chacin. He's retired the first 9. Rockies, and we welcome you back to Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Kawasaki Tarek. Fox Sports Wisconsin Outdoors showcases the ultimate in outdoor programming every Saturday and Sunday morning. Experience everything from the pursuit of fish and game to exploring the best weekend destinations. Fox Sports Wisconsin Outdoors, Saturdays 6 a.m., Sunday 7:30 a.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And our AT&T trivia tonight: who are the 3 Major League Baseball players with the last name Renicky? It's a good question. There's one of them. Played in the big leagues for a few teams. The Phillies.
I played against one with the Orioles.
Yeah, good one. And the other is here at the ballpark tonight.
Right. Yeah.
Those are enough hints. They don't like when you do that in the truck.
The other one's working for the Brewers. One of the other ones.
Yes, that's right. Two of them are currently employed by the Brewers.
Right. I mean, obviously Ron is, but one of the other 2.
Yes. I thought we were done with the hints.
Never done.
Here we go to the 4th, and Tulowitzki will lead off for Colorado. He drove in the only run of the game. Had an RBI double in the first inning. It was a quick strike for Colorado. Markham retired the first 2 hitters quickly, and then Carlos Gonzalez singled, stole second, scored on the double. Tulowitzki maintaining a .400 batting average against Milwaukee throughout his career. And a swing and a miss, 1-2 the count.
They wouldn't hit 400 if they threw him pitches like that all the time. That was a dandy right there. That slider off the plate. 81 miles an hour, and Tulowitzki with the big hack. Now, he can hit, make no mistake about it. He hits a lot of teams pretty well. A .293 career hitter. Almost 450 RBIs. He's a run producer and a pretty good shortstop who's off to a slow start defensively.
He shoots out into right. And over to cut it off his heart. Tulowitzki will settle for a single. That was a good piece of hitting there. Leadoff single.
Let's check out our keys to the game, brought to you by GMC. 2 outs, nobody on, and back-to-back hits, including Tulowitzki's double to score Carlos Gonzalez. Sean Markham has given up 3 hits in 3+ innings, but Jolice Chassin 9 up, 9 down to start the game.
Chassin has 4 strikeouts through the first 3 innings as well. Todd Helton, the ageless one. And he jumps on the first pitch. Aoki will run it down for the out. Right off the end of the bat, Helton flies out for the first out, and Tulowitzki retreats to first base.
Yeah, they used to refer to Helton as the old man. They can't do that anymore with the Rockies.
That's right.
He's a youngster.
He was very excited to have Jamie Moyer join the roster. Kills the average age of a ball club, though, doesn't it? Helton's 38 years old. You got Jason Giambi on this roster as well. And the 49-year-old Jamie Moyer. You need a bunch of 22-year-olds to affect the curve on that one.
Yeah, they're on the pitching staff.
Giambi's 41 now, by the way. Still at it all these years later. Boy, think about the pension that's involved with those 3 players. There's Jason Giambi, a former MVP.
I know Sean Markham's glad he's on the bench. He's handled Markham pretty well in his career.
Hernandez lines one to left. That's down for a hit. And it bounces up and over for a ground rule double.
They didn't call it, though, did they? They did. And Braun played it as if it didn't hit the back wall. But Ramon Hernandez continues to swing the bat pretty well. 3rd double of the year. Every time it seems like Sean makes a mistake with his fastball, they're hitting it. That might have been a changeup. He waits back and hits it well over Braun's head and left. So again, the Rockies had something going.
Second and third with one away, and it's Tyler Colvin now. Rockies with 4 hits thus far. Now Markham in trouble as Colvin takes. Good take. 1-0 to count on the former Cub. Colvin was involved in that trade, sent Ian Stewart from the Rockies to the Cubs. Stewart's the everyday third baseman for Dale Swaim's Cubs. And Colvin is used as a 4th outfielder.
Yeah, Cubs thought he was going to be an impact player when they brought him up. It just never worked out that way, and ended up becoming expendable and getting an opportunity tonight with the Rockies. And he's been swinging the bat pretty well to start the season.
Cubs have a big prospect center fielder named Brett Jackson, who's close to being major league ready. Probably see him at some point this year, especially if the Cubs continue to struggle like they have. It's Colvin, little soft line of the weeks, and he's there to make the catch. Markham got in on his hands a little bit and took just enough steam out of the bat. It's an easy play for Ricky Weeks for out number 2.
Yeah, got in on his hands with that fastball. The fastball in, and just enough on the handle to keep it in the infield, and that's a big out for Sean Markham. Now able to get out of the inning with an out here.
So the runners stay put at second and third, and Chris Nelson is coming up. Nelson struck out in the second. He's the 8th place hitter, though, and you have a base open at first at the pitcher on deck. Be interesting to see how aggressive Markham will be against Nelson. That's the pitch he swung and missed at. A high fastball last time.
And Markham made him look pretty bad on breaking balls, and then was able to get him with a high heater. Be careful. As you mentioned, first base open, 2 outs. You don't want to give up a hit here. Might as well just put him on.
And they will. So the call from the dugout. 4 fingers. And Nelson will receive the intentional walk. Well, not a bad thought. See if he'd chase. He didn't. And now you put him on and go after the pitcher.
Yeah, well, the last thing you want to do is make a mistake with a pitch that you think you're trying to throw out of the strike zone and give up a base hit. Fall behind 3-0. As much as Ron Renicky hates intentional walks, that was a no-brainer right there.
You very rarely see the Brewers manager do it. The only time he does it is in spots like this. He hardly ever does it if it's to set up a double play. You know, you get late in a game. He doesn't like loading the bases, but with a pitcher coming up, he'll take his chances. Chacin popped up to the catcher in the second inning. And a big cut and a miss. He was going to take a shot at it. Chacin does have a hit this year. He's 1 for 4, and he's driven in a run.
Yeah. He stands up there pretty good. I mean, he's going to take a rip at one, especially in this situation. Men on base, help himself.
Last year, Chacin hit 164. He didn't strike out all that much for a pitcher. He made a lot of contact. Markham was able to strand 2 in the first inning, trying to leave the bases loaded here in the 4th. Tulowitzki had a leadoff single. Hernandez doubled, a ground rule double, and then the intentional walk. And now Markham wants Lucroy to come out.
You don't see that very often with the pitcher up. They want to make sure that they agree on what to throw here. You know, Markham's fastball, 86 to 88. You don't want to make a mistake with a pitch at that velocity. But you don't want to fall behind with a breaking ball. Last thing you want to do is walk him.
A fastball up, little roller, foul. Ramirez took the gamble. And a foul ball, the right call.
And now you throw your sliders off the plate. You got an opportunity to throw 2 of them. Get him to chase.
Now some early stress pitches for Sean Markham. Bringing Lucroy out twice now. And a big moment early, especially the way Chacín is pitching. The 1-2 and a line drive into left field, a base hit. 1 run is in. Hernandez coming home. The throw to the plate and the tag is in time for the out. Hernandez barking at Larry Vanover. And the calls at the plate have gone the Brewers' way. The inning ends at home plate. A run does score. And it's 2-0 Rockies. And Vaughn gets another one.
Bat third here in the bottom of the 4th as the Crew hopes to bounce back from a 2-0 deficit. Tie for Crew in the community. Join Ryan Braun and the Brewers Community Foundation for the first Brewers Drive for Charity this weekend at Miller Park. The foundation is collecting toiletries for the guest house as they honor 30 years of ending homelessness for men. Everyone who makes a donation gets a Ryan Braun commemorative pin. The Brewers Community Foundation Drive for Charity this weekend at Miller Park. Guys, come out, see some great baseball, and help a great cause.
All right, Mark, thanks. And, yep, Ryan Braun. He'll hit this inning, but he picks up his 2nd assist. And let's take another look at his play at the plate.
Yeah, throw up the line a little bit. The Brewers had the right guy running, and Ramon Hernandez saying that Lucroy never made a tag, and look at him sliding right on top of the bat, or at least he got a piece of it. Well, you can't tell if Lucroy gets a tag on, but you can look at Brian Gorman. He is right, or I should say Larry Vanover, right on top of the call in great position. And in his opinion, he did make the tag right on the hip, right there, and he calls him out. Throw up the line just a little bit. Ryan showed good patience in making that throw, knowing who was running, but for some reason that throw was up the line about 3 or 4 feet, but Lucroy able to make the adjustment.
Here's Ricky Weeks starting the bottom of the 4th. How about the bat, though? The bat laying there. Whose responsibility is that?
It's either the umpire's got to get rid of it because he doesn't have much to do until that play, or the on-deck hitter.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get rid of it.
Well, Hernandez slid around it. It looked like Lucroy got the worst of the bat. Tulowitzki takes care of Ricky Weeks.
I know one thing. There are times on plays at the plate, a catcher will just put that bat right where it is right now, and make the hitter or the runner make a decision. Do I slide on top of it, or I try and go around it? Somebody's got to get rid of it. The on-deck hitter right there. There he is, right there. Scudero's got to get rid of that bat. He has plenty of time to do it.
Meanwhile, Jhoulys Chacín starting to develop into a story here tonight. Chacín has retired 10 straight to start this game as Nori Aoki batting for the second time. He grounded out his first time up. And there's a liner, and it's going to get by Gonzalez. Aoki can run for a while around second, on his way to third. And he's got a chance to score here. Throw coming in late, and Aoki goes around the circuit.
Good job by Ed Cedar. I thought for a minute that he was going to hold him up. A little bit of a problem out there in left, and he sent him around, and Aoki, I think, will get a home run here. How about that? How about that for a first hit of the game? Well, they had him played pretty well, but that's what Aoki does so well. Takes that ball to the opposite field. And once Gonzalez couldn't keep it in front of him, it was going to be a foot race around the bases. Watch him go. He can run.
Now watch Ed Cedar. You can see him in the shot. And look right there. He's going to hold him up. But then he said go ahead, and it wasn't even a throw.
Are Japanese pianos heavier than American pianos?
Did you think he was running slow?
No, right at the end he could hold up. No problem, and it will go as an inside the park home run for Nori Aoki. Has that big leg brace on he's running with.
Right.
So the Brewers are on the board as Aoki goes around the bags.
I wonder about the decision by Gonzalez to do that. I mean, I guess you have to do that the first hit of the game, right?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, there had been a hit before. He might have played it on a hop, but first hit of the game, you got to stretch out and try and make that catch. And they're fighting over who's got to pick it up. Nobody picks it up. That's when Ed Cedar said, go ahead.
First inside the park home run since Ricky Weeks did it last year. Right here at Miller Park against the Reds.
I'm going to tell Koska you said that about Aoki, the piano.
His interpreter.
Oh, yeah. And I can't tell Aoki. I mean,
you can.
He won't.
He understands more than you think.
I saw Kosuke, who is the interpreter, in the Brewers lunch area today.
Yes.
And what he was doing, he was translating the scouting reports on the pitchers for Aoki into Japanese.
Ah.
One of his responsibilities.
That's interesting.
I never knew that.
So there is a Jhoulys Chacín scouting report
in Japanese.
In Japanese.
In Aoki's locker, yes.
I'd like to get a copy of that for my files.
Right. And he does it on the computer. And he also told me that, my computer, I could do that on my computer somehow. He pushed a button, and all of a sudden he's typing in Japanese. I said, I don't have that on my computer. Not that I would want it.
Braun strikes out. So you're just learning that today, that you can do that?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, in retro Friday gear, take you back to July 8, 2011. Ricky Weeks off the angled part of the center field wall, and it was an easy inside the park for him as well.
Now you're telling me you knew that already?
Oh, I do it, use it all the time.
No, that's not true.
You can transfer in any language. You go to MLB.com.
And I've been looking all over this computer. There's no button that says it's typing in Japanese now.
That's because you don't understand it.
That's right. I just never knew that, the interpreter did that. I mean, he did it for Saito last year. Never knew it.
Just a little fun fact. Wait a minute, you did a little R&D today. Doing a little research down in the clubhouse today.
Kind of just stumbled upon it on my way in to get a cup of coffee. And there he was. So you can thank Kosuke for that home run.
Yeah, Kosuke Anaji, the interpreter for Nori Aoki. Well, he's got reason to smile. How about that? His first major league home run is an inside the Parker. He's doing a lot of things for the first time over here. Had his first squeeze bunt. That was on Tuesday night. Had his first hit, first RBI. Aoki with his first homer now. Ramirez, soft ground ball out to Tulowitzki. And Chacin comes back, retires Braun and Ramirez. But Nori Aoki goes around all four. Inside the park home run. And it's 2-1 Colorado. Visit MLB.com/fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at MLB World Series game. And it's presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of MLB.
Well, tonight's time of the game winner is Gippers Reel 'em in Tripoli, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. That's up near Rhinelander, you know. Tripoli.
Yeah. Up there, up north.
Right.
2-1 Colorado. Nori Aoki, the story offensively. Got the first and only Brewers hit, turned it into an inside the park home run. Brings back memories of Prince Fielder's inside the Parker. Not 1 but 2. That's always an interesting trivia question.
Right.
Prince Fielder had 2 inside the park home runs as a member of the Brewers.
They're both kind of with an asterisk, though. One was in the Metrodome. They lost it in the roof.
Hit the speakers.
And one was here against Toronto. They got caught under the pad and right. Who was it? Alex Rios?
Yes, it was. And if I'm not mistaken, Sean Markham pitched that day for the Blue Jays. But yeah, got caught under the padding. And the rule is here you have to play it into that padding. You can't just raise your hands. Scutaro is 0 for 3. Speaking of former Blue Jays. And Markham has the first out here in the 5th. Back to our AT&T trivia question. Who are the 3 Major League Baseball players with the last name Renicky? 2 are formers. 1 is active. Gary Renicky, Ron's brother, who is now a scout with the Brewers. Longtime Baltimore Oriole. Josh Renicky is a relief pitcher for the Rockies.
Yeah. They had a chat before today's game and I guess wishing each other well. Gary Renicky was a Baltimore Oriole back in the days with Earl Weaver. and he was in a platoon with John Lowenstein. Remember that? My contemporary.
Josh Renicky is Gary's son, Ron's nephew. And Ron has a son, Lance, who's a college player, successful college player out in California. And it'll be interesting to see if he takes it to the next level as a professional. Maybe a fourth Renicky on the way to play Major League Baseball. Dexter Fowler batting with one away here in the 5th inning. And it's 2-2 on Fowler. Markham's been able to contain the top two of the order. They are combined 0 for 5. Gonzalez and Tulowitzki are the two that have done the damage. Fowler's 0 for 2 with a K. And that one is in there for a called strike 3. A bender from Markham. Second time he has struck out Dexter Fowler. They got some news going on down on the farm. Double-A Huntsville, Scooter Jeanette. What a hitter he is. We saw him this spring. He has an 11-game hit streak going. And hitting .427 during the streak. Look at his season. A couple of home runs, 11 RBIs.
He's not a big guy, but he's got some pop in that bat. We saw him hit for the cycle in the spring training game this year. He can run. Improving defensively over there at second base. I'll tell you, the Brewers minor league system has got some good talent down there. They really do. Good pitching, some good outfielders. Infielders that have a chance of being good someday.
Jeanette's one of the prize prospects in the Brewers system right now. He's always been a good hitter. He's not very big, but packs some punch. Speaking of the farm system, the Brewers excited about their pitching, and it is about to be tested here. 2 players promoted to the big leagues. Mike McClendon takes the roster spot of Chris Narveson, who is on the disabled list now with a rotator cuff injury. And tomorrow Willie Peralta will be here as Cameron Lowe goes on bereavement leave after the passing of his grandfather.
Now you would figure that Marco Estrada is going to get an opportunity, maybe 2-3 to see what he can do, and I guess it's only right that he gets the opportunity anyway. I mean, he certainly earned it. Thanks to see Willie Peralta in the big league game.
Yeah, Peralta has been pitching well this year at AAA. And you have to think somewhere, wherever that may be, Mississippi maybe, Roy Oswalt just perked up. Who's still looking for a team to play for this year. He didn't like any of the offers he received this offseason, but he wants to pitch.
That would be interesting.
Well, we wish the best for Chris Narveson, and hopefully the news is not the season-ending kind with that rotator cuff injury. And he has more evaluation to go through before they know what the plan will be. As Markham dots the inside corner, strikes out Gonzalez. And another 1-2-3 inning for Sean Markham. He has 5 Ks. Corey Hart, he's due up when we come back. The Brewers are down a run. another tight one here at Miller Park. Another well-pitched game as Corey Hart on the first pitch pops up to Heldenford, out number 1. Well, this is the same kind of game so far that the Brewers have had this entire homestand. Brewers at Miller Park starting a 3-game series tonight against the Rockies. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Mark Concannon joining us. And a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Matt Gamble with 1 away. The Brewers have just 1 hit. It was an inside the park home run from Aoki. Gamble struck out back in the 2nd inning that ended the inning. Chacin has been on his game tonight.
And he struck him out on a slider or some type of a pitch that looked almost like a split-fingered fastball, and pitch that came in there like a fastball just dropped as it got to home plate. It was a good pitch.
24-year-old Venezuelan Jhoulys Chacin. He was in the big leagues at 21. His first ever appearance at Miller Park tonight. Gamble lays off. Good take, and it's ball 4. The Brewers have a base runner.
Hey, it's time to vote Brewers this season. 8 Milwaukee Brewers players are featured on the ballot for the All-Star game in Kansas City beginning today. Fans are able to vote online at Brewers.com. All fans voting 21 or more times will be entered to win Ryan Braun's Miller Park suite for a night. Vote on the Brewers.com and cast your vote now.
Here's Alex Gonzalez with a runner at first. This is the first time tonight Chacin has pitched from the stretch. Gonzalez grounded out his first time up.
And just as impressively, one of the few times he's been behind in a count, and his first walk.
What was that note on him? You gave a good note before the game about 2-0 counts with Jhoulys Chacin.
Well, I was talking to the Rockies broadcasters, and I can't verify it, but this is what they said. They said that only Tim Lincecum had more 2-0 counts last year in the National League than Chacin.
Kind of falls in line with his scouting report that he struggles with his command. He led the National League in walks last year, but that has not been the case tonight. Chacin has 53 pitches, 34 of them for strikes. It's a pretty good ratio. 34 strikes, 19 balls. And he has just mowed through the Brewers' order. Minus the hit by Aoki, the inside the Parker. And really, that was a line drive that should have been a single. Right. But Gonzalez, the left fielder, dove for it, trying to take a chance at an out, trying to preserve a no-hitter.
Right.
And Aoki goes all the way around to score.
Well, and you can't blame him for that. I mean, in a normal situation, I think he plays it safe.
That'll be in the seats. And Gonzalez is down in the count 1-2.
I think the difference between Chacin and Lincecum can get back in the count with a number of different pitches. That great changeup. Chacin's still young, not able to figure out a way to do that. He just can't fall behind in the major leagues all that often and have success. And he did not in the second half. He got belted around pretty good. He's got a personal 5-game losing streak going, dating back to last September.
Coming inside on Gonzalez, and he taps it foul. Those 2 Cy Young awards would be a major difference between the two also.
Oh, you think?
Lincecum's off to a slow start this year, right, for the Giants. A lot of questions about his effectiveness.
Yeah, the whole Giants pitching staff is off to a slow start.
1-2 on Alex Gonzalez. 1 out. And Gamble over at first base. I'm sure the book is out at this point on Gamble. He has 3 steals. And they have been sneak attack steals. Gamble taking advantage of a pitcher not paying attention to him. But the fact that he's stolen some bases early, you know, that gets its way into the scouting report. Gonzalez out in front. Chacin had him fooled. This will be an easy out for out number 2. Check the Powerball home run leaderboard. Nori Aoki has not quite yet put himself on this list, but he has his first one. Corey Hart is the leader with 4.
Amazing, Ryan Braun not on that list, huh? Ryan off to a slow start. He'll get it going.
And Braun has just 1. The National League home run leader is Matt Kemp, who hit his 8th today against the Houston Astros after homering here at Miller Park yesterday.
And let me correct something I said about the Giants. They had been off to a slow start pitching, but now they're pitching much better. They're around the middle of the pack right now in the National League. They were dead last about a week ago.
Yeah, the Giants and the Brewers down at the bottom. The Giants have moved up the list. The Brewers are still last in the league in ERA. Statistically, I think you look at where the Brewers are in just about every major category: fielding, pitching, some of the individual pitching numbers, batting average. And to be 6-7,
right,
you've kind of weathered the storm of what is a poor start individually for most. Ron Renicky hoping to see this club get on a hot streak. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers is a good start.
Yeah, that was a good start. And very dramatic games. You could have swept the series. Of course, they could have been swept. I mean, a little bit here and there could have been much different.
Brewers got terrific starts from Gallardo and Greinke the first 2 games of this series. Or this homestand, I should say. Gamble goes, and Lucroy is drilled. Well, that one had to hurt a little bit. Chacin with a 90-mile-an-hour heater up and in on Jonathan Lucroy.
Yeah, never had a chance to get out of the way. Right away, right out of the hand, this ball's going to hit Lucroy. Look like he got it on the back of the arm. Ouch.
Those are the ones that scare you. There's not a lot of protection up there, and a bunch of small bones on that hand. And let's hope Lucroy is going to be able to stay in there.
Just like a foul tip, right? He's used to it.
Well, it does give the Brewers 2 base runners, but Sean Markham is coming to the plate. So Markham hopes to return the favor to his mound opponent. Chacin singled in an RBI back in the 4th inning. And now Markham has a chance to do some damage on his own.
Now you would figure Markham is going to be up there and try to do what Chacin did to him. Markham hung him a breaking ball, and Rocky's pitcher able to bang it into left. Let's see if Chacin returns the favor.
Now Markham had walked Chris Nelson intentionally to get to Chacin, and that inning ended on that base hit. Braun threw out Ramon Hernandez at the plate. Markham back up the middle. Tulowitzki ranging over, flips to the bag in time for the out. Tulowitzki makes a nice play, a good exchange with Marco Scutaro, and they just get Jonathan Lucroy at second base.
with a game on the line, usually against a setup guy or a closer. And it's not really fair to them when the game's on the line to never have at-bats. So whenever I can get a guy and give him 4 at-bats in the game or whatever it's going to be, I feel like I need to try to do that. Nori's been doing so well. Whether he starts for us or whether he's off the bench, I want to continue with him being the value that he has to us.
That's Ron Renicky before the game today, talking about Aoki's start. You got to tip your hat to the manager. He's been pushing the right buttons with his bench players. Remember, Cesar Izturis responded well to his starts.
Ishikawa yesterday got 2 hits.
And Aoki has the only hit tonight, an inside the Parker. The only run for the Brewers. It's 2-1 Rockies. It's a much different game in the National League than it is the American League concerning your bench. You have to keep them sharp. You have to keep them active.
Yeah, if you're not an everyday player and you're a free agent, you want to go to the National League because you have a chance to get into every game. You can go, a week to 10 days without sniffing the field in the American League.
Aoki's first major league home run. Mike Vasallo, the Brewers media relations department, who turned 40 yesterday, by the way, was doing some research on the inside the Parkers for your first major league homer. So you think that'd be rare, right?
Right.
It's not so rare. It happened 4 times last year. It's a hot one by Tulowitzki, and Ramirez puts him away for out number 1.
An inside the park home run for the first major league
homer 4 times last year.
Well, let's think about it. I mean, an inside the park home run. You would think anyway. It's not always the case. Prince had 2. The guy doesn't have a lot of power, a lot of speed, ball rolling around down the corner. I guess maybe that makes sense.
Connor Gillespie of the Giants was the last to do it. Well, the Brewers had 3 of their own last year. Not their first career homers, but 3 inside the Parkers. Weeks did it in July. Uni Betancourt did it in June. And then remember, Carlos Gomez had 1 in May. Ricky Weeks has a couple now. So we're going deep into our inside the park home run research. It's the 26th occasion in Brewers franchise history.
Yep, Robin had 5 of them.
Helton sends one high and deep right center. This is way back there and way gone. Todd Helton, he just missed the last one in the 4th inning and squares it up this time, and the Rockies have a 3-1 lead as Helton belts his 2nd homer of the season.
Well, Todd Helton says it, and the folks around this Rockies club have noticed that Helton is feeling about as good as he has in about 4 years. And he's swinging the bat. He's getting the fastballs. There's one, about mid-thigh, about middle in, and he knocks it on out of here into that Toyota territory out there in right center.
Well, he has been amazingly productive for a very long period of time, Todd Helton. Now 38 years of age in his 16th year in the big leagues. Career home run number 349.
Yeah, he's probably going to be back for another. He's got another year on his contract.
He continues to rack up the numbers. I think 3,000 hits is a stretch, but 2,500 is certainly in sights. That was hit number 2373 for Todd Helton.
I'm amazed that he's not closer to 3,000. I thought that he was going to be able to get there. One of those big years he had with the Rockies. Well, big home run seasons, hitting 350.
He led the league in hits one year. Back in 2000, had more hits than any other National Leaguer. That was his best year, his big year. That was the year he drove in 147 runs, 2000, and finished 5th in the MVP voting.
I think hitting in Coors Field hurt him throughout his career, and I think that, as you think about Todd Helton throughout all the years he's played, and you look at his splits, home and road, they're very similar, except for, of course, the home runs. Batting average very close. He's just a good hitter. He always has been.
Is he a Hall of Famer for you?
Yeah, yeah.
I would agree.
When you talk about an impact player in your era, Helton certainly stacks up amongst the best. 3 Gold Gloves for Helton.
His other home run this year was a game winner and a walk-off home run. It was against Arizona back at Coors Field. Hernandez down the right field line. That is a fair ball. And Ramon Hernandez singles with 1 out. His second hit against Sean Markham. Former college quarterback Todd Helton. Got some footage from his QB days. Backing up Peyton Manning at Tennessee. But I think he chose the right sport, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how small he looks on a football field. And Peyton Manning skying over.
That's big time football, Tennessee, baby. Well, they play for keeps down there in that SEC.
I'm sure those two reuniting now that Peyton Manning is a Denver Bronco. Tyler Colvin with 1 out here. 3-1 Colorado on the Helton home run. Markham's given up 7 hits. Brewers don't have much going offensively tonight. The inside the park homer from Aoki. A walk and a hit batter. That's it. That's all that Jhoulys Chacín has given up in this game.
Man, nothing really hit all that hard except for that Aoki base hit.
Colvin down the left field line. This could be trouble. It is a fair ball to the wall. Hernandez will be held around third this time. And the Brewers fortunate that the Rockies catcher was the front runner there.
Yeah, 2 times already tonight that Hernandez, his lack of running speed has cost the Rockies, but 2 pretty good at-bats back to back, opposite field hitting. Hernandez taking one to right, and a nice piece of hitting by Tyler Colvin. That pitch looked like it might have been off the plate and just flips it down the line in right. In left field, rather. And once again, Sean Markham in trouble.
Markham has had to pitch out of trouble on 3 occasions tonight. He stranded 2 runners in the first. Left the bases loaded in the 4th inning, but did give up a run in each of those innings. Rick Kranitz, the Brewer pitching coach, trying to get Markham through this 6th with Cameron Lowe loosening in the bullpen. Lowe is going to be leaving the team for the weekend to attend his grandfather's funeral on the bereavement leave. So he figures to get into the game here tonight. A touchy spot in this game with Chacín dominating on the mound. Brewers do not want to trail by any more than 2. It's 3-1. 8th place hitter at the plate, Chris Nelson. Glen Allen Hill staying out of harm's way. The first base coaching box is only a suggestion, by the way.
I'm not sure why he's standing there, but it works for him. guess there's an unwritten rule amongst coaches. You stand wherever you want, and I'll let you stand wherever you want.
Right. One ball, one strike. Glenn Allen Hill was the first base coach to wear the helmet before it was mandatory.
Hey, he had some power in his career. He can hit him a long way. Cubs, Toronto. Big time power.
Infield is in. 2 balls and a strike. And a big cut from Nelson. 2-2 now.
With the infield in for the Brewers, now I figured out why Glenn Allen Hill is standing there. If he was in the coaching box, he couldn't see his base runner. If he's standing right here, he just couldn't see him.
Right in line.
So he's right here, and he can see him now.
So the third base coach handles the runner at third, and Glenn Allen Hill has the runner at second, you're saying.
He's keeping an eye on him, making sure nobody's sneaking in behind him. Not sure who it would be, except maybe Aoki.
Or the second base umpire. 2-2 to Nelson. Big pitch for Markham. Nelson able to stay alive. The Brewers will have the top of the order coming up in the bottom of this inning. Markham's pitch count 97. Markham has had three up, 3 down innings. Has had some stressful pitches to make in this game. And a 2-2. Bounce to third. Ramirez coming to the plate on a hop. The tag. And that one's in time. Again, Hernandez cut down.
What a great play on both ends right there. Well, Ramirez realizing he was eating with the bag, that a hard shot. And once again, the Brewers fortunate that the Rockies catcher's on third base. Now look at the pick by Lucroy. That's a heck of a play. The runner bearing down on him, a one hopper, and able to make the tag. I think somebody else running, and that's a run. Nice job by Lucroy, having to make the adjustment. He blocks the plate off, and they get the out.
If there was ever an example of the Buster Posey play having a carryover effect, I mean, how often do you see a guy slide into a tag like that? That's normally a barrel the catcher over situation. Catcher to catcher. Well, that could be a huge play. That was a terrific pickup by Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, the one thing that's a little bit different for Lucroy than Buster Posey, I'll tell you, Lucroy is in good position to protect himself. That's the main objective if you're in a collision at home plate. Number one, you get the baseball, then protect yourself, and then worry about a tag.
Again, it's Chacin, the Rockies pitcher. He singled his last time up. Take another look.
Watch Jonathan right away. Protect myself. He gets the knees down. He kind of braces himself for contact, and that's what you have to do. You just can't throw your body in front of home plate. That's a good play.
And you think about just the equipment itself, a catcher's mitt, able to scoop that one up like a first baseman with a runner barreling in on him.
Well, it used to be back in the old days, catcher immediately would throw his mask off on a play at home plate. And thinking back on that, that's the dumbest thing you can do.
That's right.
I mean, you remember?
Might as well take your chest protector off too.
Yeah, take everything off. Why need a glove? I mean, that face mask is your defense. It could be a weapon too.
I can remember being taught, use your mask, you throw it out in front of home plate so the runner has to slide around it.
Right. And then you take a bad hop from the outfield right between the eyes.
Off your mask.
Yeah, well, no. When the mask is off, yeah. I mean, that happened to me in AAA.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened. That answers a lot of questions, doesn't it?
They don't call him the Rock for nothing.
That's why I didn't know that you can write Japanese on your computer. I do now.
2 on, 2 out. Markham trying to retire the pitcher here. And comes high and tight. Chacin's proven to be a tough out. Markham taking a little extra time between pitches, as that pitch count is at 103 now. And what will most certainly be his last inning might be his last hitter. 3-1. Todd Helton with a home run earlier in this inning. Markham has seen 2 outs at home plate in this game on plays at the plate, both on Hernandez. Chacin fights that one off.
Yeah, just hanging in there, isn't he? Already 6 pitches that Markham's had to use to get Chacin here. He's still only at 2-2. Fouling him off, taking some pitches.
Runner at second is Colvin. Good speed. Nelson runs well at first base. And again, Markham wants to discuss this pitch with Jonathan Lucroy.
That's the 3rd discussion in this game with the pitcher at the plate.
That's right.
You hardly ever see that.
Both occasions there has been a runner at second base. Two balls, 2 strikes. Chacin, a little tapper over to Ramirez, and he winds it up and just gets Julius Chacin. Inning over, a runner's in, another play at home plate. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Inside the park home runs, the story for the Brewers offensively. Aoki did it earlier in this game, and we take you back to last season. The Brewers had 3 of them. Carlos Gomez had the first in late May against the Giants, and then Betancourt against the Minnesota Twins. That was June 25th of 2011. He goes all the way around. And Ricky Weeks, we showed you this one. That was against Cincinnati. The theme here with all of the inside the park home runs last year, 3 Brewers wins in each of those games where you had an inside the parker. And Aoki has one here tonight.
And no play at the plate in any of them, were there? So kind of stand up inside the park homers.
Making it easy in the home stretch. Aoki due to hit second as Ricky Weeks leads off. That Aoki inside the park home run, the only hit for the Brewers tonight against Jhoulys Chacín. Ricky Weeks tonight is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. And that batting average has slipped under 200. Ron Rickey, knowing he has to get the top of his order going, trying to insert some life into that top of the order with Aoki. Specifically, that is Ricky Weeks. And an all-star season last year, had 20 home runs. A brutal injury, though. Twisted his ankle, severe sprain for Weeks. It cost him 6 weeks of the pennant race part of the schedule last year. Here is Nelson, and the throw is good to get Ricky Weeks for out number 1. And here comes Nori Aoki. Powerball home run number 1. Aoki. Gonzalez was shallow and left.
Trying to preserve the no-hitter. He went for it and came up empty, and a little bit of confusion as to who was going to pick it up and throw it in. That's all it took for Ed Cedar to wave him around. And that first major league home run and inside the Parker.
Well, he's batting for the 3rd time. Grounded out his first time up, and he pulls that one foul. I hope everybody's all right down there. Looks like somebody got hit with that line drive. Aoki, a big star in Japan. It's a big decision for him to leave Japan to come to the States. But as he put it through his translator, every Japanese player, if you've achieved a certain level of success in Japan, you still aren't quite sure until you match up against the game's best, the best of the best, and that's Major League Baseball, and that's why he was so eager to do it. And you think about the role change for him.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, to leave a place where he's a superstar and a celebrity to come over here and be a backup player. I mean, that tells you how much these guys want to come over and play in the big leagues.
Full count to Nori Aoki. Into center field. That is going to fall for a base hit. And Fowler falls down. Aoki never stopped running. He's into second base, hustling his way for an extra base. And now you see why they love him so much in Japan.
Now, just a nice piece of hitting by Nori Aoki. Check out this pitch. A full count, a breaking ball, and he tries to lay the bat on it out there in the gap. They had him shaded way around toward left center, and Fowler goes down. It's all it took for Aoki to get into second base and into scoring position.
Safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life. Nori Aoki has the 2 Brewers hits. A home run and a double. And now Braun steps in, representing the tying run. Braun has struck out twice. Rarely see that from Ryan Braun. And Braun takes a strike. You can just tell by the way he's tracking the baseball into the glove. He's not seeing it well.
Trying to get some air in those lungs, and he just looks a little bit uncomfortable in that batter's box. Yeah. It's not the same Ryan in that batter's box right now. Chacín's making it tough on him. He's making some good pitches on Braun.
And Braun hit by a pitch. Chacín gets another one. He almost hit Braun his last time up. This time he clips him. And it's first and second with one away for Aramis Ramirez.
Tried to double up inside. He caught the corner of the first pitch, and that one not even close. Looks like that one got Brawny on that elbow. Remember that elbow that gave him some problems a while ago.
He now wears that pad on the elbow, and good thing. So all of a sudden the Brewers putting together a little threat here. Aoki had the double. Braun hit by a pitch. Now Ramirez representing the go-ahead run at the plate. Ramirez always ready to swing if he gets one he likes on the first pitch. His lone home run for the Brewers this year came on the first pitch. That was a game tire against the Dodgers.
That fastball down and in. He just golfed it on out of here. Chacin started him with a slider.
Ramirez is 0 for 2 after a 2-hit game yesterday. 1-1 on Ramirez. Now this is the spot Ramirez was hired for. Big run producer. 2 on and 1 away. 2-1. Now Chacin starting to scramble a little bit inside. That was a pitch he was commanding well in the first 5 innings of this game.
Yeah, he was commanding everything, well in the first 5 innings. Well, hitters count for Ramirez. You figure he's going to get something pretty good to hit here. Nope.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Hernandez does a nice job to block it. But now 3-1.
Something about working out of the stretch for Chacin, huh?
He hasn't had to do it much in this game. Big spot. Hitters count. Aramis Ramirez with 1 out. A mighty swing for Ramirez. 3-2.
They tried to bust him in, and Ramirez trying to leave the ballpark. Missed his spot. It was supposed to be away. Ended up on the inside corner.
Fastball had a little sink to it. Ramirez swung right over the top. Now 3-2. Send the runners here.
I don't think so.
Rockies are set up for a double play ball to get him out of the inning. Good speed on the bags. Aoki and Braun. They stay put, and Ramirez pops it foul.
Aoki not able to get much of a jump over there. Ramirez susceptible to the strikeout, and I guess worst case scenario for Ron Renneke, if Ramirez doesn't drive in a run, you get Corey Hart to the plate with 2 outs.
There's always that fear of the line drive out as well with runners in motion.
Of course, Chacin's got a lot of ground ball outs today. You get the double play as well.
We'll do it again. 3-2. Here it comes. And a swing and a miss. Ramirez strikes out. That is a big out for Jhoulys Chacin.
Yeah, it looked like ball 4. Yeah, that sinker that started out around the knees ended up around the dirt. And Chacin with a big pitch to get Aramis.
Here's Corey Hart. 2 outs now. Tying run at first. And Hart into left. Gonzalez coming in. That'll bounce. A base hit. Aoki on his way to the plate. The throw is late. Barely. Aoki scores. Carlos Gonzalez has one of the best arms in baseball.
Yeah, I'll say, boy, that was a rocket into home plate. A one hopper.
Hokies standing up the whole way and able to score. The Brewers are within one. And now watch Gonzalez. He gets himself in position to make a throw very quickly. He plays it on the hop. A little bit off the end of the bat. Now Gonzalez, as you mentioned, a great arm and very accurate. That's a rocket into home plate. And check out Matt Gamble. He's there. On deck hitter. You got to tell a runner what to do. I guess what that means is if you don't do anything, stand up. Right? I mean, what is the sign to stand up? Like put your hands up?
Well, the run scores. That's a big hit for Corey Hart. 3-2 now, Colorado. Hart comes up with his 9th run batted in. So now 2 on with 2 out again, and Matt Gamble chance to tie this game up. He's got Braun at second base. He'll be running with a crack of the bat. He should be able to score on a base hit. Well, for Corey Hart, that is his first run batted in since Sunday in Atlanta. RBI number 9, leads the ball club, brings the Brewers within a run. Pitch count of 84, and it has been Chassin's most stressful inning here in the 6th. Gamble had the day off yesterday. Travis Ishikawa started at first. Back in there today in a big spot. And Gamble breaks his bat, but a base hit. Ryan Braun around third. He'll score easily. The throw goes to third. Hart is safe. Gamble safe at second. We are tied at 3. As Matt Gamble comes through in the clutch.
Yeah, back-to-back hits with runners in scoring position. What a nice swing by Matt Gamble. Fastball up right down the middle. And Gamble able to tie it up. There it is. Right down Main Street, up in the strike zone. That short stroke by Gamble. And Corey Hart able to get into third base. And Ryan able to score the 3rd run for Milwaukee.
Fowler took a shot. Gamble, excellent base running, saw that throw go through, and now he's in scoring position. Alex Gonzalez at the plate. 3-3 game, bottom 6. That pitch has given Gonzalez fits tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to hit. That slider that ends up down and away. I mean, it's the hangers that you have to take advantage of, and it was a hanger that Corey Hart was able to drive into left field. Nobody hits a good slider. You gotta wait for the bad ones. When you get them, you can't miss them.
Gonzalez has been full twice on that breaking ball. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. And had a little one-handed pop-up to second base in the 5th. Base hit. The Brewers take the lead. 2nd and 3rd with 2 away. 2 runs are in for the Brew Crew here. Right off the end of the bat. Had him fooled again, didn't he? Helton will make the catch. Chassin is out of the inning, but the Brewers score twice. Hart and Gamble with 2 out RBIs. Our game summary, if you're just joining us, let's get you caught up here. It's brought to you by Toyota. The Rockies scoring in the first inning. Tulowitzki had an RBI. Colorado added to it in the fourth. Brewers fortunate to have 2 outs at home plate. That was the first hit. Nori Aoki went all the way around for an inside the Parker. Todd Helton made it 3-1 Colorado with a homer in the 6th. But back-to-back RBI singles by Hart and Gamble at the bottom of the 6th inning. And that has tied the game at 3 as we go to the 7th. Jose Veras in to pitch for Milwaukee. Sean Markham is out after 6 innings. 8 hits, 3 runs, and now Veras, the 7th inning pitcher for the Brewers, will take over.
And threw a perfect 9th inning in the game Tuesday against the Dodgers, in which the Brewers won in the 10th. So Veras was throwing the ball pretty well. 6th appearance. He's 1-0 with a 2.08 earned run average. He has allowed 1 home run.
We got another good game going at Miller Park tonight. Aoki with that inside the park home run. 1 of 2 inside the Parkers tonight, Rock. Alex Presley of the Pittsburgh Pirates also had an inside the park home run against the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals won that game, but Presley with his first home run of the season. All tied at 3. Brewers Rockies. Marco Scutaro will lead off. Well, he is the leadoff hitter, but he's led off 4 consecutive at-bats now. The 9th spot in the batting order, the pitcher made the final out twice. The other out to end an inning was at home plate.
Now, when you look at ballparks around baseball, you look at Miller Park, you would say to yourself, it's really not an inside the park home run type yard, right? Unless you get one, you know, in there in center field, those balls out there. But I would think Pittsburgh would be. That's where Presley hit his, that deep left center out there, about 410 feet.
Bouncing ball to Gonzalez. One Venezuelan shortstop takes care of the other. 1 away. Now the Brewers and Bucks will be shown live simultaneously tomorrow on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers and Rockies will be seen as usual right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. That's at 5:30. Bucks Nets, Fox Sports Wisconsin's alternate channel. That's at 7 p.m. Just log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. You can find out all the information where you can find those channel listings for the alternate channel. 1 gone for Dexter Fowler. 0 for 3 tonight. Markham struck out Fowler twice. Markham ended up with 5 Ks in the game. Another solid start for Sean Markham. Brewers were a base hit away from giving him an opportunity to win tonight.
Yeah. He was a base hit away in the last inning of being pulled. He did a nice job minimizing that damage. 2nd and 3rd for the Rockies with 1 out and got out of it.
Dexter Fowler was a big part of the Rockies' playoff run. He and Carlos Gonzalez bursting onto the scene. They matched up against the Philadelphia Phillies in 2010.
Yeah, Rockies thought that Dexter Fowler would be a leadoff hitter for a long time, but just hasn't been able to get on base enough. Well, he can fly, he can run. Strikes out a little bit too much.
Renicky looking for an explanation from Larry Vanover.
Yeah, you don't see that much from Ron Renicky, but that pitch looked pretty good.
Full count. And that would miss. So a speedy base runner is aboard. And now the muscle coming up for the Rockies.
Yeah, for $24, get the Rock the Ballpark package that includes a ticket to select Brewers home games, a Summerfest ticket, and a T-shirt. Visit Brewers.com/Summerfest.
Well, a tie game, but now the Rockies send their two best hitters to the plate. Carlos Gonzalez, who is 1 for 3 tonight, and a single, a stolen base, and a run scored in the first inning. Just trying to get through the Rockies series before Gonzalez and Tulowitzki get hot. These two are going to push for an MVP, many feel. They did last year. MVP candidates with their skills. And they've already shown the pedigree to do so.
Yeah, certain guys, you know, they're going to get off to a slow start from time to time, but when it's all said and done, they're going to put up the numbers that they have throughout their career. And Tulowitzki, 30 homers, over 100 RBIs. Ryan off to a bit of a slow start. You know he's going to get his. Just the other guys have to continue to do what they've been doing.
Chase 1 and 2 on Gonzalez.
He pulled the string on him. Vargas has been throwing a couple of changeups. I didn't even know he had that in his arsenal. Usually fastball, slider, but you know he'll throw a changeup once in a while to a lefty.
There's Speedy Fowler at first. And there he goes. And a swing and a miss. Throw to second. Not in time. A great pick by Gonzalez, but Fowler able to sneak a hand in there. Gonzalez strikes out for out number 2.
Yeah, that was a heck of a job by Alex Gonzalez to make that one close. Look how quickly Lucroy gets rid of it. You know, the pick, and then he had to reach back. But Fowler can fly, and he was in there safely. A very quick transition by Jonathan Lucroy. Got that ball on its way to second base very quickly. That made it close.
Fowler's second steal. He's 2 for 2 this year. And he's in scoring position, representing the go-ahead run with Tulowitzki at the plate.
Another guy you got to be careful first pitch. That first pitch fastball, look out. He'll go after it. Tulowitzki doesn't walk much.
Big bender misses. Tulowitzki came into this series 1 for his last 14 at the plate. Jim Tracy gave him off Wednesday in a final game against the Padres. So 2 days off. Another breaking ball missed, and it's 2-0 on Tulowitzki.
Yeah, you can be careful with Tulowitzki, but that guy on deck, he's been around a long time, and he can hurt you. And down in the count, 2-0. You've got Todd Helton waiting his turn.
Helton has homered tonight. At the time, it gave the Rockies a 3-1 lead. That was last inning. Got to be careful with this one. And it's 3-0. Tulowitzki's been playing hurt this year. Had a hip flexor injury, his right hip. Not at 100%. Remember in late spring training he was hit by a pitch from Ubaldo Jimenez. Much talked about beanball from Jimenez that earned him a 5-game suspension. There's a strike.
Little bad blood with Jimenez and the Rockies. Jimenez with the Indians. Talking about a fall from grace, huh? Ubaldo Jimenez and the Rockies.
Yeah. A lot of talk back and forth between the two. Tulowitzki still wears that brace on his elbow where he was hit by the Jimenez pitch in spring training. Yeah, breaking ball missed, and Tulowitzki draws the walk.
Yeah, that was a cross-up. Jonathan thought a fastball was coming. Hey, talk about self-preservation. Check this out. You know, when a catcher reacts like this, that means he wasn't expecting that pitch. It's easier to make the adjustment if you're looking fastball to get a slider. It's the other way around. He's going to wear that one in the mask.
Yeah, you wonder if it cost him a strike. As we see the home run by Todd Helton last inning. That's the double by Tulowitzki. And Tulowitzki with a single in the fourth. So after his walk, we'll show you his 2 hits. And now 2 on with 2 away for Todd Helton. Helton hit a long home run in the 6th inning. His 2nd of the year. Now 9 RBIs. Helton is the Rockies RBI leader at this point. Barris falling behind 2-0. He's not missing by much.
He's trying to be a little bit too fine. You know, fastball, sliders. And once again, a 2-0 count. I think that's that changeup again.
Well, here comes a dangerous pitch. And he missed again. 3 balls and no strikes. Helton has always had the green light on 3-0.
He's got the look on his face like he's got it now.
Yeah, you can't just lay this one in there. He could send one out of here in a hurry. We'll see. And he takes a strike on the edge. He didn't think so.
Yep, just barely catching that outside edge.
He might have a beef.
Or not.
Lucroy was way out there. Go ahead and run at second. 2 on, 2 out. And a hitter's count for Helton. Oh, he had a big cut. 3-2 now on Todd Helton.
I'm not trying to mess around too much on the inner half with Todd Helton. Everything away. Fastballs and changeups. And that's why. And pitch number 3 ended up out of the ballpark.
Yeah, that was his last at bat of the 6th. As he dare challenge him in there. Keep an eye on Lucroy. Sets up away. Runners go. And a strike call. Down goes Helton. Big pitch. A gutsy breaking ball from Jose Barris. Throwing a wrinkle into the can. Still tied at 3.
To the bottom of the 7th inning. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Kawasaki Terex. I'm Craig Kashan, and time now for our social media hit. Of course, our handle at Twitter is @FSWisconsin, and this one comes from Beth Ann Rock. This is all yours on this one. How many signs do a pitcher and catcher have during a game, and does each pitcher have his own sign every time he goes out? What do you think?
Well, I mean, pretty standard. One's a fastball, two's a curve, three's a slider. You wiggle the fingers for the changeup, and every now and again you get a fastball. You'll swirl the finger around. That'll be a sinker. But no, the signs are pretty much the same when nobody's on base. Now, every pitcher perhaps will have a different set of signs. With a man at second base, every pitcher is comfortable with a certain set of sequences that they do. We might do that on an instructional. We've done it before.
That'd be a good idea.
But not tonight.
You already got your plan tonight.
We're all set. Davey and I, we're locked. We're locked in. We're going to talk about the responsibility of an on-deck hitter.
Oh, nice.
And when a play's going on at home plate.
Lucroy, right center field. He got good wood on it, but just got under it. As Fowler is able to haul it in for the out. Almost for Jonathan Lucroy. Well, let's talk about the on-deck hitter. This was from the other night. Gale coming around from first.
That's Gomez. You see Gomez right there? Yep, there he is. He's telling him to slide and where to slide. And there you go. And here you go. Marco Scutaro today not doing much of anything, I guess.
Yeah. Nigel Morgan announced as the pinch hitter. What do you think your role will be in the instructional here today, Rock? You're going to be the slider? You got your sliding shorts on?
There will be no sliding. I think we're just going to go back there and just talk about the different ways to tell a hitter what to do. One of the responsibilities, and I think this is where perhaps Mr. Scutaro fell short, was to get the bat out of the way in the event of a slide.
That bat was right in the middle of that twice on both of the outs as Morgan sends one to center. Deep but playable for Fowler. And there's out number 2 on Nigel Morgan. So 2 outs. Chacin pitching in his 7th inning.
Well, he's still under 100 pitches. He's at 94 right now. It's been an impressive pitching performance by him. He's done a nice job.
He has been very efficient. His last start against Arizona was rain short. He threw just over 60 pitches. He had a no decision, 4 innings in that game. Brewers were able to tie it up in the 6th. Back-to-back 2-out hits in that inning that drove in runs. Hart and Gamble. It feels like the Rockies should have 6 or 8 runs on the board right now. They've been threatening often in this game.
How about that job by Veras to get Helton after falling behind 3-0? There have been some big moments in this game, and the Brewers pitching staff has been able to come through.
Veras walked 2 but struck out 2. He struck out Gonzalez and Todd Helton.
In the 6th inning, Markham got out of a 2nd and 3rd and 1 out.
Brewers have gotten 2 outs at home plate on plays at the plate. 2-1 to Weeks. 2-2 on the Brewer leadoff hitter.
That's one right there. That pitch right there, when Ricky's dialed in, he's just going to whistle that one down the left field line. Handles the ball in pretty well. That last one, and just able to foul it off.
You see the 6th inning. That was the stress inning for Chacin. 26 pitches. Brewers scoring 2 runs on 3 hits in the inning. Full count to Weeks. Bouncer to Scutaro. He scoops it up and makes a play. And the side is retired. Hassan comes back with a 1-2-3-7.
Yes, here once again with a look ahead to your forecast for tomorrow's Brewers game. Well, we keep things tranquil, just some patchy clouds across the area as high pressure remains in control, so no rain in sight, though it will still be on the chilly side with a first pitch temperature 45.
Thank you, Violetta. And our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Brewers and the Rockies again tomorrow, an hour earlier tomorrow. 5:30 is airtime for Brewers Live. Final game of the series Sunday. We're encouraging you to come early. There is a ceremony for Ryan Braun. We're going to give him his MVP trophy. Got a nice little presentation for Ryan Braun. And then the Astros come to town Monday. 3-game series with Houston. This will be a 9-game homestand in all. And it's off to a good start. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. And a tie game as we go to the 8th. Francisco Rodriguez will take over on the mound.
There have been a couple of rough outings for K-Rod, but his last time out, he tossed a scoreless 8th inning. That was Wednesday against the Dodgers. Took a blown save on Tuesday when the Brewers won in extra innings. That save that he picked up was in Chicago, his first as a Brewer.
Now the 2 wins on this homestand. The Brewers have won in their final at-bat, and if they win tonight, they will be in their final at-bat again. First things first, top of the 8th with Ramon Hernandez coming up on the first pitch. Alex Gonzalez for out number 1. One pitch and 1 out in front of a big crowd here at Miller Park. And it'll be near capacity, if not sellouts this weekend. I know they're expecting big Saturday Sunday crowd.
Yep, the Braun MVP ceremony tomorrow, and then the Lucroy bobblehead. That's on Sunday.
Tyler Colvin on the first pitch. Cuts and misses. Colvin getting the start tonight for Michael Kadire. Jim Tracy is hopeful that Kadire can return to the lineup tomorrow. After he fouled a couple of pitches off his toe. Actually hit a home run after he fouled a pitch off his foot. He must have caught it pretty flush if he's missing a game. Kadire's he's a tough guy. He didn't miss many games due to injury. It's a nice pickup for the Rockies, too. Michael Kadire. There's a lot of teams that were wanting his services this offseason. Hard to think of the Twins with no Kadire, no Kubel. Kubel's in Arizona now.
And they're glad to have him, all the injuries they have to that outfield.
Now they went from discussions of too many outfielders in Arizona to not enough with the injury to Chris Young, who's on the DL, and Justin Upton, who has a thumb injury. Colorado took a series from Arizona, took 2 out of 3. Rockies have won back-to-back series. One gone. K-Rod against Tyler Colvin. Got him. Struck him out with a fastball.
Yeah, blew one by him on the inside corner. Nice pitch.
No, our game reset. Jhoulys Chacin, very good for Colorado. 7 innings, 3 earned runs. Nori Aoki, an inside the park home run. One of 2 inside the parkers in the big leagues tonight. Aoki has 2 hits in this game. Matt Gamble drove in a run. Had an RBI with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
And not many people talk about it, but Matt Gamble's a heck of a base runner. This guy does a nice job of picking up extra bases like he just did. We saw him with a really good day running the bases against the Dodgers. You don't have to be a base burner to be a good base runner.
He took second base on that throw by Fowler after driving in the run. Back up the middle. Weeks is there. Backhands. Fires. Inning over. Francisco Rodriguez holds serve. Bottom of the 8th. All tied at 3.
At Miller Park 3-3 game as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. Nori Aoki, what a fun spark he's been for this club, and they really needed him early inside the park home run.
Boy, that was outstanding. His first major league start for the Brewers, and boy, first hit for the Brewers. Chacin was really cruising along. Aoki just really gave that spark. He scored 2 runs, have a couple hits, and hey, maybe he'll get it going right here.
Well, of course, we'll break down his game, catch up with the players in the clubhouse afterwards, all coming up on Brewers Live. Brian?
All right, Craig Davey, thank you. And a nice hand for Aoki as he is announced. Ron Renicky gives him the start tonight, and he responds. A homer, a double, 2 runs scored. At the plate, presented by Wendy's, for Norichika Aoki, from the Yakult Swallows to the Milwaukee Brewers. New pitcher, Rock, is Matt Reynolds.
Yeah, we got Aoki and then 3 consecutive right-handed batters. This might be his only hitter. He's off to a good start. He's given up 2 runs in 5 innings.
Well, it's impressive that Aoki's been able to swing the bat as he has. Not seeing any of these pitchers he's facing. He slaps one over to third, and Nelson makes the play for the out. 1 away. Well, how about the ball games on this homestand?
Yeah, it'd been great.
This is the 4th in a row that's going to come down to the bitter end, as Jim Tracy will make the call to the pen. Reynolds takes care of the left-handed bat, and with Ryan Braun coming up, Jim Tracy is going to go to Matt Belisle. Take a break. Set up the new hurler when we continue. Home Depot doing more on defense. Ryan Braun picking up assist number 2 as he cut down Ramon Hernandez at home plate. That ended an inning for the Brewers. It was back in the 4th, and then Aramis Ramirez gets Hernandez again. That was a great play by Luke Croy.
Good play all the way around. You know, it's always easier for a catcher to block home plate with a throw coming from left field than it is to right. You can see the baseball coming, you can see the runner coming at you, and you can prepare for a collision. You don't have that luxury or opportunity with a throw coming in from right. As Matt Belisle takes over. 6th appearance for Belisle, has yet to give up a run this year. He's throwing well.
Ryan Braun has good history against Belisle. 4 hits in 7 at-bats. As he finds the outside corner. 0-2 on Braun. Belisle has a terrific cut fastball, and he gets a lot of outs with it. Rockies just signed Belisle to a 3-year deal. They like him so much. That late bullpen role, 7th inning role typically if the Rockies have a lead. 7th or 8th. Boy, that one is on the corner, called strike 3, and Braun's struggles continue here tonight. That is his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Man, you just see he's not really tracking the baseball all that well, and that one has plenty of home plate. They're only hoping it's away, but that had a lot of the white. And Hernandez holds it there nicely for the home plate umpire.
You could probably count on one hand the 3 strikeout games for Ryan Braun. I don't remember any offhand, but it's very rare.
That happens to the best of them. Just have a night where you're just not seeing the baseball all that well, or a stretch, and I'm sure he has. But I don't remember too many times last year where Ryan Braun, and this game's not over yet, has gone 4 games without a hit.
Quickly 0-2 on Ramirez. And Belisle throwing darts. Got him. Well, that didn't take long. Belisle gets the last 2 outs. He strikes out Braun and Ramirez. Still tied at 3. 9th inning coming up. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Kawasaki Terex. Big crowd, and it's coming right down to the finish line here tonight. John Axford will take over 3-3 game 9th inning. That's the ability of a manager managing at home. You have the chance to use your closer in a tie game. And Axford is going to face Jason Giambi to start it.
Only 2 save opportunities for John Axford. You'd like to have a little few more than that going into game number 14.
Big shift on for Giambi as Axford falls behind him. Got Ricky Weeks out there in the rover position. There's a strike. Good fastball in there for strike 1 on Giambi. 41-year-old slugger. He's kind of found a niche here with the Colorado Rockies. It's sawed off. Going to be a tough play. Ramirez back, and that's going to fall. A base hit. So Giambi is aboard. Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. The 2 starters in this game. Chacin, 92-mile-an-hour, topping out with his fastball. Sean Markham at 89. Neither starter will factor in the decision. Giambi is out. Will be pinch run for Eric Young Jr. And the Rockies go back to the top of the order. Marco Scudero.
They got good speed at first base. You wonder if the Rockies are going to think about a bunt or a stolen base. Man, Ramirez way in on the grass at third base.
And that hits Young, He's on his way to second. Gamble's throw is late. And an error by Axford advances the Rockies runner.
Well, a token throw to first base and ends up costing him a base. Not even close. That one gets a piece of Eric Young Jr. And as we said, he's got good speed, gets into second. And a dangerous throw by Gamble. That could have ended up into left field.
And now the go-ahead run in scoring position. And that may change things for Jim Tracy here. You know, Scudero will do all he can to advance him to third at the very least. And he's bunting, and he takes a ball.
And Matt Gamble about 50 feet away when that ball got to the hitting zone. Well, Ramirez has to stay put to make sure that Eric Young doesn't steal third. So Scudero is going to try and bunt it toward Ramirez.
Bunts through it.
Now you can get too close to a guy trying to bunt. I mean, if he bunts it over your head in Gamble's case, you want to be about 60 feet. The closest, I think, you know, Matty might not want to get that close.
Scudero takes a strike. Curveball from Axford. It's 1-2. They took the bunt off.
Well, Gamble stopped right around 60 feet. Much better decision that time.
Well, Axford could use a strikeout here. Marco Scudero. And he drives one into the gap. Hart is over, and he makes the catch. A great play by Corey Hart. Advancing is Young. But if Hart doesn't use that 6-6 frame, that is a run for the Rockies. That was headed for the gap.
Yeah, it looked as though he might have misjudged it just a little bit. The ball had some air under it. But a hanging curve ball. The Pizza Hut delivery of the game comes from Corey Hart. At this point, perhaps a game changer. Able to make a nice catch out there and right, but Eric Young Jr. gets into third base. Could have been a lot worse.
Well, Jim Tracy's going to take a shot at it right here with Michael Kadire. Young at third base, one away. And Kadire coming off the bench.
Jim Tracy a little bit worried that Fowler might go up there and strike out. I mean, that's a situation where he needs contact, and he feels as though Kadire's his best shot.
A tough part of the order for Axford to get through with one out and a runner at third. Kadire batting now, pinch hitting. Carlos Gonzalez next. Kadire is having a great start to his Rockies portion of his career. Good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, coming into play today, Kadire's .370 batting average, 6th in the National League. And he leads the National League in doubles thus far, 7 doubles.
He's always been a good run producer and a good situational hitter.
Back up the middle and a base hit. And the Rockies have the lead here in the 9th inning. Michael Kadire delivers with a pinch hit RBI single, scoring Eric Young from third base.
That was a curveball that Scudero hit in the right field, and a curveball that was up that Kadire hit hard into center. That good Axford curveball ends up down around the shoot tops. That one hung up, and Michael Kadire, the pro that he is, able to bang it into center field.
Colorado back on top. Brewers managed to tie it in the 6th inning. And Michael Kadire with a pinch hit RBI. That's his 9th run batted in. Carlos Gonzalez singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 4, has a couple of strikeouts on his card. Had a notion to bunt his way on, did Gonzalez.
And he's certainly not afraid to do that. We've seen him do that a number of times, but with a shift. Ramirez, playing a little bit off the line, and even with the bag.
And a base hit to right. Carlos Gonzalez with his 2nd hit. And now 2 on with 1 away. And Troy Tulowitzki coming up.
And fastball down, and lefties like it down there. Gonzalez able to drop the bat head and finds a hole in the right field.
So here's Tulowitzki now. Colorado has taken the lead in the 9th. Quieted down this big crowd at Miller Park. Now Axford in trouble here with 2 on and just 1 out. Tulowitzki, and it's caught by Gonzalez. Diving catch, Alex Gonzalez for out number 2.
Well, he can pick it. I mean, going into the hole for that line drive. We've seen him go up the middle and make some great plays. That saves a run right there with a catch of a line drive.
Good base running by the Rockies. They held their ground so as not to get doubled up. And now 2 outs for Todd Helton. Sawed off. Ricky Weeks. And the side is retired, but the Rockies score. Do the Brewers have a comeback in them tonight? Down a run. Bottom of the 9th coming up. There's a difference between an ending and a finish. Endings are imposed and inflicted. A swing and a miss, inning over. And John Axford saves another one. Finishes are earned and celebrated. And a high drive to right center. And he swings in the air, center field, right back. And there it goes. It's the last word. The closing act, the final step, the whole point. We don't remember the start. we never forget the finish. Morgan tags. Here comes a throw. And Morgan slides. And will there be another moment here at Miller Park to remember? 4-3, the Rockies taking the lead in the top of the 9th inning. Corey Hart will lead off. Coleman moves from right to center field. And Kadire stays in the game to play right. Kadire drove in that go-ahead run in the 9th. And the new pitcher is the closer, the 37-year-old Rafael Betancourt.
Yeah, he's starting the season as the Rockies closer, the first time in his career. He's had some saves, but has not started this season as a closer. He's had very good numbers in 12 career outings against the Brewers.
As a decade in the big leagues, is mostly a setup man. Corey Hart leads off. 4-3 Rockies. And there's strike one.
Betancourt is predominantly going to be pitching with fastballs away. He very rarely comes inside. So if you're a Brewer hitter, you're thinking about taking it up the middle into the opposite field.
Well, the most saves Betancourt has recorded is 8. That was last year. That gave Jim Tracy enough confidence to start the season with Betancourt as his closer. He has saved 3 of the Rockies' first 6 wins. Ball and a strike on Hart. We had a big cut. And it's 1-2. That was the pitch he wanted.
Yeah, he missed with that one. It was going to be away, which they're all going to be. Very rarely does he come inside for a strike. He might show you one off the plate, but that pitch right down the middle.
Corner infielders guarding the line. Outfielders are very deep. Hart behind in the count, 1-2. 2-2. Betancourt saved a game against San Diego. His 3rd save. 3 for 3 in save opportunities. His saves have come against the Astros, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres. He did give up 3 hits and a run in 1 inning of work in that successful save on April 17th.
All the Brewer hitters know that Betancourt is going to work away, but when you have 2 strikes, you just never know that you just can't sell out for something away all the time. He may very well slip one in on you. That's the mindset of a hitter.
Hernandez back out there. The 2-2, and Hart pops up. Out is Scudero for out number 1. A long run out there, and he makes the catch for the first out. Ho-Chunk text question: does the home team play different in the 9th inning in terms of playing to win or tie? Kerry in Waukesha asks.
Well, it depends on the situation, I guess. I mean, bottom line, you want to tie it and at least take it to extra innings. But yeah, you get a couple of hits to start an inning. You try and put it away in that inning.
Now 1 gone. Here is Matt Gamble now. Brewers are down a run. 4-3. They have just 4 hits in the game. Gamble has one of those. He drove in a 2-out RBI in the 6th inning that tied the game. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a walk and a single. His 4th RBI. Gamble's lone home run came right here at Miller Park earlier on this homestand. Very quiet crowd here in the bottom of the ninth. An RBI by Kadire took the wind out of him a little bit. Two and one.
And Betancourt throwing a couple of changeups to Gamble. Something going away from him. He's not going to mess around too much inside once again to a left-hander, and he tries to avoid the slider. So it's been fastball changeup to Gamble so far.
Gamble to the opposite field. That's got some heat on it. Gonzalez looks up. It is off the base of the wall on a hop. And Gamble is in with a double. Matt Gamble again coming up with a big hit. And there's the tying run in scoring position.
And there's that opposite field power for Matt Gamble. Betancourt missed his spot. Fastball was supposed to be on the corner, but it was outer half, and here comes Gomez to pinch run. Check it out. Look at Hernandez. Watch where it ends up. A little bit more of the plate than Betancourt would have liked, but Gamble liked it. And off the bat, I thought that was out of here. I think maybe Gonzalez did too. Played it off the wall, and I'll tell you, he might have given up on that a little bit too soon.
I agree. No, it's a double, and Gamble lifted for the pinch runner Gomez. The fastest Brewer representing the tying run. Here is Alex Gonzalez. And Hernandez on his way to the mound. Well, Gamble has come up with some big hits. That is his 6th multi-hit game this year. That leads the ball club. So 2 hits today for Gamble.
And he did exactly what you have to do against his pitcher. Take it to the opposite field. Can't try and pull him.
And you're looking at a dead pull hitter in Alex Gonzalez. Both of the Brewers wins on this homestand coming to their final at bat. They have another one in them. Remember, the catcher Hernandez has a great arm.
And you got Scudero playing up the middle. That keeps Gomez pretty close to second. But you know, you look at that high leg kick from Betancourt. I mean, he takes a long time to get rid of the baseball.
It's tempting.
You know, problem is he lifts that leg so slow and deliberately. He can actually, if you take off too soon, just spin around and get you.
Alex Gonzalez with one away. And a big swing and a miss. 0-2 the count.
Takes an awfully long time to get rid of the baseball. That high leg kick, very deliberate. If you figure it out, you get a big jump. I don't care how well a catcher throws.
Gomez hanging close to the bag. And now a pickoff attempt. Good throw from Betancourt. Gomez has just enough. Jonathan Lucroy would be next. Alex Gonzalez in a hole, 0-2. And another pickoff attempt. Now when the Brewers were able to come back against the Dodgers, very similar scenario with Gomez demanding a lot of attention from Javi Guerra, the Dodgers closer. There he goes. And Gonzalez pops it up. Gomez has to hustle back. Helton makes the catch for out number 2.
Well, he had a great jump, but you know he can't take it because he has 2 strikes. He's got to protect the plate.
So Gomez still at second, 2 outs. Now the manager Jim Tracy wants to talk through the scenario here with everybody.
And talking about what to do in the event of a stolen base. Gonzalez may very well take off in hopes that Hernandez gets a bad throw off and ends up in left field. Well, it's going to come down to the 2 catchers at this point, you would think. Lucroy up and George Kataris on deck.
Well, they've been the 2 best the Brewers have had to offer this year at the plate. Lucroy gets first dibs. He's 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. With a game on the line, Jonathan Lucroy. (4-3) Rockies. Kadire drove in the go-ahead run for Colorado in the 9th. And a strike from Betancourt. Never had a hit against him. Limited at bats against Betancourt. Gamble had the double. Gomez pinch running for Matt Gamble. And there he goes. And it's a ball. And the Rockies content to give him third base.
You would think that's still got to be a stolen base. I mean, there's no way you can have defensive indifference on a 1-run game like that. A lot of different ways you can score from third that you can't from second. And a wild pitch is one of them.
Lucroy at his best in the late innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gomez on his toes at third. And a swing and a miss. 1 and 2 on Lucroy. Lucroy in survival mode at the plate. The Brewers are down to their last strike. Slicing foul in the seats. If Lucroy reaches and the game doesn't end, George Kataris will get a shot. Lucroy's a good hitter with 2 strikes. And down he goes. Lucroy strikes out. And the Brewers come up a run short once again. So Gamble's double spoiled, ends up at third base. Colorado wins the opener of this series as Betancourt picks up his 4th save. Axford takes a loss, and the winner's Matt Belisle. 4-3 Colorado. Much more still to come. Let's check in with Craig Kashawn. What do you have coming up on Brewers Live, Craig?
Well, Brian, a lot of close games so far on this homestand. 4 in a row now, 1-run decisions. The Brewers have dropped the last 2. We'll look ahead to game 2 of the series tomorrow night. Get inside the Brewer clubhouse here from Ron Renneke. Brewers Live postgame on the way from Miller Park.